Welcome back to a very special episode of Raised by Giants. It's so special that it's got special in the title. So, welcome everyone in the chat, moderators and members, to the Thanksgiving roundtable discussion. I'm really looking forward to the chat. And I thought, hey, I don't have any family where I'm at here. And I know it's a few days before Thanksgiving, but I thought the next best thing would be to bring on some of my friends from the virtual space for an amazing laid back conversation for the holiday week. And with that, introducing first philosopher and researcher of occult and esoteric studies, Wayne Steiger. Welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you doing?
Thank you, Ryder. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend, and doing exceptionally uniquely well.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to the conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun. Next, we have the wonderful and lovely Trina Phoenix. Hello and welcome back to the show, Trina. It's good to see you.
Oh, Ryder, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be in the presence of such wonderful people. So thank you.
Going to be amazing. Next, we have Nina the Mystic from Nina the Mystic YouTube channel. How is it going, Nina? It's good to see you again.
Hey, everybody. I'm doing great. How you doing, Ryder?
Doing amazing. Looking forward to this this discussion that we're about to have, and get into the Thanksgiving spirit that we're going to talk about. But we also have, for the first time, guests of the show, and you've probably seen him in the chat or heard of his show, host of Milky Way Soul Tribe, Robert V. Welcome to the show, my friend. It's good to see you.
And it's a great day in Ryder's Milky Way.
That's perfect. That's a great saying. I never thought of that. I'm going to make that a slogan on my show now. Robert, thanks for the idea, my friend.
Great. That's awesome.
Well, welcome everyone. This is amazing. But here's really my thing is, why are we even still celebrating Thanksgiving, guys? Why haven't we canceled Thanksgiving by now with all the wokeness that's going on? Thanksgiving is probably one of the most horrific holidays that the United States celebrates. Actually, all of the holidays are pretty horrific when you think about it. The real origin story of Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, not a good dude. Before Christianity got its fingers in Christmas, it was Krampus, not Santa. So the most benevolent holiday that I could possibly think of is probably New Year's, but I'm pretty sure that one was just created. We just created that one. And it gives people an excuse to get super trashed and party, probably forgetting about the fact that Thanksgiving was about the genocide of the Native Americans, right?
Forgetting the pain, anesthetize ourselves.
Yeah.
That was a very tragic story. I was talking a little bit before the show about how, they back in 1616, I get my dates right here. They had the big plague that wiped the Indians all out. And, 90% of them literally died from this plague that was brought over from Europe. And, Squanto, you probably heard of him. He was captured as a slave before that all happened. He was taken to Europe. He did get sick, but with the European medicine, he was made well. And he was somehow some Spanish guy helped him. And eventually he saved money or was given passport to get on a ship and go back to the Americas. And when he got here in 1619, he found that there was nobody left. The villages and houses were all empty. There was bones on the ground where the people had died. They couldn't even move. They went, 20 miles in off the shore, maybe more, who knows. But and they couldn't find anybody. And eventually they did find people, but he became an interpreter. And he was there at the first Thanksgiving with the few Indians that were left and trying to repopulate. So I guess it was for some of that was for a giving of thanks. That's why I say it's more of a give. You should be giving thanks than Thanksgiving. There you go.
Thanks for the plague, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we give the Apache and the Iroquois wool blankets that were infected with smallpox?
That's what I was going to ask. I wonder if that was intentionally or what.
That was actually done in. I got a book. I got a book here. I think it might be in this one that I was reading. It's old. It's the 1800s version of it, and it does say in there that they intentionally on this was the
warfare.
their early Europeans did. They intentionally gave blankets to the Iroquois and stuff, hoping that they would catch the smallpox. Now, if they could have caught it from the blankets, I don't know, but they knew that the Indians were very susceptible to smallpox, to these diseases, and they tried to infect them. That was their kind of germ warfare, and they did. That was the early settlers of the colonies did that.
Sounds like an early version of the Tuskegee experiment.
Yeah.
Hell of a country. That's all I got to say. Hell of a country. God bless us.
Wow.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
I'm
when you
Canadian,
think about
okay?
that, you go, "Geez," so who's being thankful for what?
I know, right?
Right.
Hmm.
It also too, it makes you look at, the consequences of when you start mingling lots of people together that haven't been exposed to each other before. It seems to propagate the spread of a lot of illnesses.
Mhm.
Well,
There's a belief that, there originally were 10 gods, and the 10 gods had each area on the globe with clear defined borders. So, for instance, Yahweh never transgressed outside the lines of what you read in the book of Genesis to Abraham. So it's real interesting that, he never transgressed into the Egyptian area. Very interesting. I don't know.
Another thing that's interesting that I was thinking about the other day, Wayne, is why hasn't any wars ever been fought in the name of Satan or in the name of Lucifer or in the name of the devil?
That's a great question, Ryder.
It's one of those things.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it makes you think that, no, wait a minute, who's the aggressor here then?
That is a great question.
He loves
Wow.
you. Yeah.
I mean, Lucifer has, is the one character that if this was a play, it's like Frasier. That's what Lucifer reminds me of, as a Frasier character. Smart, but it's like, listen, I didn't do that. It's not me, but yeah.
Yeah, you would think that if he was that big of a bad guy, then it would be in his name, but
Exactly.
no, it's in the name of God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is that he rebelled against God, not against
Always.
everything else, right? So, it all depends on who you're talking to here as to who's bad, right? So, you can look at it that way, right?
Yeah.
We come in the name of, who were you at? Oh, Satan.
Well, if he was that big and bad, how come they didn't know him on all the other sides of the world? Then he was just limited in his
he was a shapeshifter, Robert. He just switched his name and changed it just slightly.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
If the God of the Bible has 72 names, it really makes you think. So if this Satan, the bad guy, and that the bad guy is all about pride, well, then Lucifer, Satan, would have more names than God, right?
You would think.
I don't know. And then you get back to your
question. So
question,
he's trying
Ryder.
to one up.
Yeah, it's like, well, why aren't they carrying Lucifer's banner? You're going to hell for that, Steiger. That's all right.
In every religion.
That's why, when I think of Thanksgiving, I always think now of Olive Guthrie and Alice's Restaurant. You have to play it at 11 o'clock. And, to me, that's Thanksgiving. It's not what I used to think it was. Anyway, as you get older.
Have you guys noticed a really weird, nostalgic bomb that they're trying to hit everybody with now? It seems like everything from the 90s and the era that I grew up in is now becoming popular again. And it seems to be going really, really fast. It just seems like 10 years ago, it was 60s and 70s stuff, and now they've already jumped it up 2 decades to the 90s, to where they're pandering to people from that generation already. It's like they're speeding things up really quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, George Michaels, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I think of the 90s. I always think of George Michaels.
He passed away, did he pass away?
Yeah, on Christmas Day,
Mhm.
2005, I think.
Wow.
Well, that was a while ago.
Wow.
What a voice. And you know,
Well, yeah.
he's kind of like one of those dudes that come through our lineage of our species. You know, it's like Elvis Presley, you know, and then you have like George Michaels. I mean, they're just good looking dudes. I mean, that's all you can say. I mean, if that, if
Wayne's
God,
not afraid to say it. He's a good
no,
looking
I mean,
dude.
seriously, if God is really God, he'd look like George Michaels. He'd look like an Elvis Presley. Because, you know, what can I say? Yeah.
Well, if you want to
You
draw,
look at most of the old statues, they do have iconic faces. You know, these old gods, they do seem to have those iconic faces. And you can kind of like, it's like Obama looks like Akhenaten. You know, it's like these themes like run through the human race and they continue. So, yeah, I could see the George Michael being a god face and Elvis.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
you
you
know,
always got to have the Santa Claus thing. That's consistent through all the pictures.
yeah. Alexander the Great.
White
I mean, we gotta
beards.
talk to him. He was a good looking dude, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which always then draws me to the point that cat lived almost 2,000 years ago. Yeah. Maybe. And well, actually, it was a little bit longer than that, 2,500 years ago. So we got a bust of him, but with the rest of these gods, you know, because that's what Thanksgiving is supposed to be about. We don't. Maybe I'm just questioning things.
Well, when you look at the statue of David too, it's super chiseled jawed, you know what I mean? It's like we have this depiction of what people are supposed to look like, and that's reverberated through Hollywood as well and through social media, how, you know, this unrealistic expectation of the way that people are supposed to look. You know, you look at, you know, models and stuff, and then you want to, you know, model yourself after the model. You know, that's where you get the whole modeling thing from. You know, it's influencing other people to model themselves after the model. And then you get the plastic surgery, you get the lip injections, you get the tummy tucks, the boob jobs, the butt implant. You know what I mean? And then it just goes on and on and on.
Transhumanism is the next thing. Integrating into the neural net.
Yes. The Neuralink is the Neurothink.
That's what they're setting us up for.
People tend to gravitate towards good-looking people, though, and they tend to elevate them. You know, whereas an ugly person, nobody wants to look at that person, and I tend to think that's why these leaders became as big as they did it, because they may have a chiseled jaw and people were just like, holy cow, he looks the part.
Yeah.
Well, look at JFK. Tomorrow's the 60th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. He was probably the most good-looking president that we've ever had, and the women were all over him.
Yeah,
women loved him.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
You know, and it's out there that, you know, the Secret Service knew that there was like this swinging door in the West Wing. You know, it's like, wow, okay.
I think they had to reel back the presidents after JFK. They were like, "Oh, we can't make him this handsome anymore. We got to get some ugly-looking dudes up there. We can't have them having him look this good."
Well, they put Johnson in.
I think too
Well, then you think about Reagan. You know, Reagan had that West Coast, you know, Hollywood, you know, because that's what he was, a Hollywood star before he ever got in politics.
Which is interesting. I didn't even know that, Wayne. I didn't know that he was an actor, a big time Hollywood actor until recently. He was like the first Donald Trump. I was like, what is going on here? I didn't realize that. Yeah.
He's one of the few stars that actually co-starred with a monkey.
Well,
he co-starred with a monkey.
You know, and his wife was very much into spirituality and different stuff, and she was She was
Well,
like
Jean
the
Dixon
one that
was
broke
a
the whole they had their own personal psychic on staff with the White House, and that's how people got publicly like announced that this stuff was really real, because everybody knew that Nancy and Ronald had their own psychic at the White House to instruct
Jane
them,
Dixon.
and
That's who it was.
yeah,
Yeah,
big
that's who it
deal. It
was.
was a huge, yeah. So it was a
And
huge
she was,
transformation with Reagan.
yeah, it's really interesting with his whole administration, but yeah,
Mhm.
I was very active in those years, within Republican Party. So yeah.
Do you think that they still do that?
Mhm.
Do you think that they use astrologers and
Yes.
psychics and people like that?
I invented two payment systems, and I can tell you, I served as a consultant to the Federal Reserve, and yes, they do. In fact,
They do.
the Federal Reserve and Wall Street they watch the sun cycles, and when they see, like we're seeing right now, exploding on the sun as we speak, so many sunspots, it's incredible what's happening. But here's the thing. So I learned working in there is that they know that this is going to cause volatility in the market. And you mark my words, the next 3 or 4 days, even with the holiday, when we come out of this, if these sunspots happen to pop a flare, you're going to see a core reaction into the market. My point is, they very much look at that.
What about the moon, though?
Yeah.
Would the moon not be just
Mhm.
as important as the sun? Would they not do certain things on certain cycles of the moon as well?
Let's say that
I read a whole moon magic book, which was very interesting. I probably need to whip it out
Yes.
again, because it's talks about how to make certain decisions on what phase of the moon is in. I'm like, oh, this is very sophisticated work. So I'm sure that they also do it on the moon
Absolutely.
as well.
if you're going to do a
Well, this
business
is what I've been
venture
seeing.
with investors, always do it from the new moon to the full moon. Do not
I was going to
make
say, I see a lunar construct and a solar construct. I see that people follow both. You're right, Wayne. I see the lunar stuff with the high level stuff more. They seem to follow more the moon. They pay attention to the
waning
sun,
moon
but
is one
it
where
does
it's
seem like the
infinite.
moon.
Anyway,
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's some
The
strange
payments
stuff.
follow all
I'm
of
telling
that.
you, in finance, it's I was a member of what was considered the most extreme right wing conservative organization. It was the Council for National Policy, which was formed under Ronald Reagan. And my tutor was Ed Meese. He was the former Attorney General. And I attended a lot of classes of him teaching constitutional law. The point is that when you get into this type of wealth and you get into that type of power structure, that's when you become very much aware that there's another power, that it's tangible. And I didn't like it, to be candid with you. I didn't like that type of energy. I just found it to be, I don't know, contaminating, so to
I
speak.
felt it
Did we freeze up?
too when I was 13. We went to DC for a field trip, and we went through all the the sites, and we went to the in Virginia where they have the Eternal Flame, and I actually got to meet Nancy Reagan. Really wonderful human being. She was very interested in one of my classmates, John Toon. She was really interested in him, and she was asking us a bunch of questions and what we like to read, and it was very interesting because she genuinely seemed interested. She was drawn to us, and she sat down with us and asked us questions, and it was really neat. But that energy, you say, that presence, oh wow, did I feel that when I was in those areas? It was very palatable to me. I could feel the darkness. I could feel it.
I met
spooky.
George W. Bush and I met Donald Trump before they were presidents.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's very interesting. Bush, he was a strange individual. He really was. He rode up in an elevator with him. And so anyway, I digress.
Junior or senior?
Junior. I met his dad while he was vice president with Ronald Reagan.
You know what's interesting? He just pitched the first pitch of the World Series this year, and the last time that he did that
You're
was right
right.
after 9/11.
You're right. Yes, I caught that too, Ryder. I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. Yeah.
Oh crap! There goes
And you know,
Thanksgiving.
we got this big X eclipse coming. There's something coming, guys. I think there's something big coming. What do you guys think about that?
Nina, what do you think, darling? You're down there. I haven't said a word.
Yeah, I think something's coming too. I can feel it. Like it's thick. Like in every different community, they're all sort of can feel it, and nobody's quite sure exactly what. But you know, there could be multiple things coming all at once. Who knows? Like, but you know. So you were talking about the solar flare. Something's coming up towards the Thanksgiving here. Do you think something's going to happen around the holidays here? Like,
oh, it's freaking. I mean, I follow Ben Davidson. Lynn and I met him in Denver, right, or back in 2015. But yes, to answer your question, Nina, go look at what's happening. I mean, this group coming in from the limb. I mean, if they produce, you know, an M class to X class flare, it could be, yeah, very interesting.
that could be like a power outage kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's been sort of been brought up a lot lately here, like EMP or solar something. You know, they're probably gonna do it themselves, but then blame it on solar flare or blame it on something. Whatever they're jacking up right now, that's what they're gonna blame it on. But I think it's gonna be them doing it. But
they say that every year. They've been saying that since 2019. Every year it's the same thing. Solar flare,
well, yeah.
EMP strike, none of it ever happens.
When, I don't know. But I think to me, it just makes sense. Like if I was going to take over a country, that's what I would do. I mean, you know, instead of blowing things up and, you know, causing ripple effects into the universe with nukes and all that, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, it would be a lot more, because it would only take a couple of years. Most of us will be gone. You just come in, take whatever they want, you know, and yeah, good times, eh?
You know what? To me,
where's the bar?
we're in the month of this 11. You know, I see I see the 11. I keep seeing the 11, and an 11 would make an X if you just cross them. So I keep seeing the symbols of the X and the crossing and the 11, and the when I keep seeing the 11, and then I keep hearing it's a gate. This is a gate, and X is marking this. This is the final crossing of the United States for this big window. And then Ben Davidson and all these people, they keep talking about a geomagnetic pole flip, and we've got a massive alignment coming in October 24. Right after the eclipse, that is going to the sun and all the planets are going to be on the other side, and we're going to, when we line up with the sun, this thing might throw something at us like we've never seen before, because everything else is going to be behind the sun. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the solar system that's bringing me to an awareness of a major gateway. We're going through a crossing this year, and it's going to be a big one.
The election too, right? That whole thing.
Yes.
October, like just before the election, which would make sense, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's the second electromagnetic field that David Dubine's been talking about for a while now.
Let's see. Maverick Observatory, he did come out today with the latest coordinates for where magnetic north is, and he said that in the last 10 days, or is it the last, I think 8 or 9 days anyway, it's moved 1.6 miles, which is the most, so it's accelerating to the west now. At the rate it's going, it will be in Russia, magnetic north, within the next 3 years.
Yeah, I've heard it's already in Russia, part of Russia.
It seems like the point that, is that, if these magnetic excursions, and that's what's happening. It's,
what I keep wondering,
it's going to have an impact on all of us. The weather, our whole construct of what, because we're being bombarded with, these cosmic rays. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I was at the store today, and there was more angry people than it was amazing. I saw one woman just lose it because the guy was restocking the shelves. And I went,
Wow.
whoa, excuse me.
You know what I
Um,
keep wondering? You know how our axis is off by 23 degrees or whatever that is? I
3.5.
wonder if this is when we get a correction. I wonder if the planet's going to start to spin back on its natural axis. And I wonder if that was the 26,000 year cycle that we just went through was kind of off kilter. We saw a lot of problems, a lot of different stuff happening. I wonder if this is the correction of Earth, and this is what allows Earth's vibrations to lift. Because if her connection was, say, going to Sirius instead of going to the Pleiadians, which when you do the natural before the shift,
Yeah, I mean,
it looks
the
like
North,
it looks like we aligned to pull up the Pleiadians, which was the Seven Sisters, the Andromeda constellations,
see,
instead of the
3,000 years
Orion,
ago,
Sirius.
the North Star was not Polaris. It was
Correct.
Thuga
It was a difference.
and Draco.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
now in a different part of
Yes.
the sky.
And what
I
if
don't
that's
mean-
when the serpent entered into the garden? What if that was when the pole aligned to Draco? What if that
well,
was
all
what
I
that
know is
is?
Draco's in the rearview mirror, and we're in uncharted territory. At
Yeah.
least of our recent memories, and you could say one aspect of it, the world's living in an altered reality because they still think that we're back where we were 3,000 years ago. We're not. You know, we have changed in a complete direction, and I don't know. I guess the Draco was experience. I wonder what this one's going to provide with the serpent.
You know, it's interesting when you were talking about going to the grocery store. I went there the other day and I almost experienced the exact same thing, but more of a dystopian nightmare. So I'm walking up to the grocery store. It's late. They now have an intercom system. I don't know if it's like that where you guys are, but there's an intercom system now at my grocery store where I live in the parking lot, telling people to keep their cars locked, to keep their doors locked, no loitering and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is like a straight
Wow.
dystopian nightmare walking up to this grocery store and going inside. Then I go get all my groceries. This is the
Wow.
weirdest thing that I think I've ever experienced. Go and get all my groceries. I go to the self-checkout line because there isn't any regular checkouts anymore. It's all self-checkout. And literally every single one of the self-checkout line things were all speaking synchronistically. They were all speaking at the exact same time, the exact same thing, coming from all directions, like all around me. And I'm like, there's nobody
Whoa.
else. There's nobody else hearing this
That's
right now.
creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walk
that
out and I
just
hear
gave me
the
the
same.
chills.
And then I have the same message as when I walked in. It's like, what is this? What is going on right now? It literally feels like the dystopian nightmare that we're kind of going in the direction of. We're just.
I think we're already there. I think we are in a polluted
We're
state.
already there, yeah. Or heading there real fast, yeah. All the stuff we've been that they've been sort of programming us in the movies, we're heading there real quick. I mean, that whole lockdown was, you know, I mean, you saw how quick the plastic thing came up and this and that, and you know, like, yeah, the next thing you know is martial law, right? But
I think Spain and Argentina are like really getting tired of this. And I heard that they're blacking out all the cameras with spray paint and ripping them down, and they're like they're done. They're not having it. They're starting to have consequences with this whole reporting system and stuff. So they're like getting pissed. I hope people can do that here quickly because this is not going to be pretty.
Well, that's the thing. We need to stand up and say no, right? We just keep bending over and taking it all the time. Like,
well, I don't think humanity really realizes how bad this is going to go for us if we don't.
No, I know.
You know, and it's not about fighting. It's not about the protest. It's about literally saying, no, this is a violation of our rights to life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness. This is no giving me my life, liberty, or happiness. So therefore, it's not working for anybody other than the people that are profiting from it. But that's such a small group of people. I think when the world can finally realize we're not fighting against each other. We've got 8 people making the entire world decisions. Literally, it's that small of a group. And when people can really wrap their brain around that, we might finally get somewhere, because we'll stop fighting against each other and really look at the head of the dragon and see where the problem really is sitting. It's not with normal, basic human beings.
Well, this goes back to my original question and my thought here that I've asked on this show several times is, why hasn't things changed, right? Why haven't we made adjustments to the way that we do things? Why are we still, why are we still doing 12 years of schooling for kids when it could be done in half that amount of time? Why are we still using the same architecture for everything? Why do we build everything the same? Well, why doesn't anything last? Why can't we take care of the homeless and poverty? Why has the middle class completely been wiped out? Why are we using the exact same shit?
Well, they're on the way, right?
With a lot of the things, and with a lot of it used to work better 40, 50 years ago in the way of appliances and utensils, right? So I guess here's my question for you guys. Let's say we just fast forward 100 years into the future from this very moment, and we walk into a futuristic antique store 100 years from now. Would we find the stuff there in that futuristic antique store from this time period, or would we find the exact same thing that we're finding now in antique stores?
I think
My
both.
answer would be is that two things. We're witnessing their rewriting history.
Yes.
I mean, I'm the oldest one here, and I'm very much aware of how they're rewriting history. So to bring out to your thought, Ryder, 100 years to now, maybe we couldn't even determine what that's going to look like, because we may be written out of the script. So
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nina.
I heard today that they're rewriting the Bible. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Rewriting the Bible. And this was Klaus Schwab's right-hand man, that little dude. I can't remember his name now. He was talking all about it. And AI, because AI, they've been waiting for AI to do this, right? And AI can rewrite anything. And so, yeah, I completely can see that, or that's why they're going to take so many of it out, because that way there's not going to be too many people remembering what it used to be,
The Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Well, there's an answer to
You know what I
question.
think?
Go ahead.
What if it's already doing it? Because wouldn't that make sense with the changes we're already seeing in the Bible, from wineskins to bottles, and now the word matrix is in the Bible like 34 times, and none of this stuff was there before. So we're already seeing some really massive changes. That's what I mean. Yeah. I think they're already doing it. For real.
And gaslighting us into thinking, well, don't you remember that? And we're all, of course,
right. Bullshit.
Because we're too afraid to stand up and say anything, so, yeah.
I think a lot of the
things
Mandela
like the lion laying with the lamb
stuff is nonsense, though. A lot of it is just complete
because
garbage.
People they're not like, when I was first going up in sales, I had a Rolodex. I could remember 100 phone numbers of people in my Rolodex.
Me
today, most people can't even remember what their own phone number is.
Yeah.
No, they don't. No, I know.
I need to look at my phone to see that's my number.
I still remember my childhood phone number. I still to this day remember my childhood phone number.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's so weird, but we don't have that no more. None of us. No.
We don't have to, so we don't.
I know.
That's what I mean.
All this technology is just dumbing us down, right? We're just getting dumber and dumber. And, like kids nowadays, they don't know how to tell time. You show them a regular clock. They have no idea what that is. It's, counting money. I have no idea. I'm really trying to stress this out with my grandkids now. We're going to learn all this cursive writing and money and all this stuff, because they're not learning it in school. You
Yeah.
know, it's
No,
all
they're
LOL
not.
or all,
No.
all stupid stuff that they're learning. Yeah.
Robert, expand upon your thought that you just said. We're not doing it because we don't have to. I find
We-
that
we
very
don't-
interesting.
We don't have to. If you don't have to learn the number and remember it and teach yourself to remember those numbers, you're not going to do it. You're going to
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I can just look at my phone. I don't have to think about it." And the less we have to think, the better off the controllers who run this world say, "Yeah, great. He ain't thinking about it." We can put whatever we want in front of him, and he'll say, "Oh, yeah, well, I don't have to think about it." I just read. I was on the company website today, and I was looking, and the guy says, "Well, just type into the thing. They got that chat thing, that computer AI deal." So I get in there, and I'm going to ask it a question so I can get to the thing I'm supposed to do. And it pops up, and here's some of the reviews, and the guy says, "Oh, this chat such and such is really good. Me and him are becoming really good friends." And I'm thinking, that's your review? You're becoming really good, close friends. And I think he used close too. And what? It's a computer, people. I almost wanted to put a comment saying, "It's a computer, you idiot. It's not even real. You're becoming friends with nothing, period. An empty space." Wow. I mean, the thing is what you asked about what holds for the future. There might not be anything in the antique stores because nobody's going to remember anything and what it's used for or what it's about. And anything we have nowadays that's made of plastic in 100 years is not going to exist. The
That was
things
my
that will
point.
be
Yeah.
in the antique store will be the same things that are in the antique store now that survive.
Because they
Because-
held up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they're taking the cursive out of the school as well. Because 1 or 2 generations from now, nobody's going to be able to read the old books. So that would be perfect for the whole rewriting everything.
Yeah.
So I'll
They can't
take care
read the
of that.
Constitution. They can't read the
Not read
Declaration of
anything.
Independence. That's
Yeah,
right.
without having an interpreter.
All of our foundational documents were in cursive.
There you go. So these are reasons why they're doing this kind of stuff, right? It
Yeah.
won't take long,
The kids won't read anyway because they'll have Chat GPT reading for them in audio books and
That's
stuff.
true.
And the thing is, what is it? Oregon or was it Seattle, Oregon or Washington? That state saying you don't have to read and write to actually graduate.
Oh, yeah, who needs that?
Yeah,
You
I mean, who does that? That means you're letting people out there that are qualified to wash dishes, flip burgers, and do nothing. I mean, what are you qualified? Push a broom? Hey, I can't read or write.
Well, hey, we got a drama teacher running the country over here, so, I mean, you guys got a senior citizen who can't even remember where he lives. Like, I mean, so you don't really need too many qualifications to be a leader of North America, apparently. So,
You know what I keep
What
seeing?
end is this? As we're describing what's unfolding, I'm sitting here going, all right, so let's advance this 2 generations down the road. At some point, people forget how the machine works.
Yes.
And we'll be all right. I won't be here. But I can see humans suddenly being the realization that the machine either takes over or the machine breaks down.
Yeah.
I think what Robert is kind of mentioning here is really a commentary on the adaptability of human beings. If we don't need it, then we don't use it, and we don't know what it is. We've completely forgotten about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go into an antique store now, I probably know about, I don't know, roughly 70% of the items in there, but a few of the things I have no idea what it is. Because we don't really use them. We don't need them. They're not in our everyday world. They're not in our everyday reality. So it's kind of like a calculator nowadays. No one really needs a calculator to go to the store and buy a calculator unless you're doing like a trigonometry class or an advanced math class.
We weren't
You need
allowed
advanced-
that. We had a slide rule.
Yeah. I know. I remember the teacher
Yeah.
saying that you can't bring that everywhere. Well, guess what, teacher? We do now.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I remember the TI, the Texas Instruments, but yeah, that we,
and
wasn't available.
on that same note about going to, I go to a lot of auctions, and a lot of stuff is old, and I don't know how many
Yeah.
people come up to me when I'm looking at something, they're asking, and what is this? And I'm like, they don't know what it is. I went to the Heritage Days here in town, and they had a sawmill set up, and the two ladies are looking at it like, wow, how does this work? And I looked down, and I pointed to everything, and I told them all how it works, and she says, do you run this? And I said, no, but I know how one works. It's pretty simple. And they were just amazed at like,
I run oil rigs. I think I can handle a saw.
yeah, but I've worked around those things. I know how it operates. I know what does what and why it does it. And they just couldn't believe it. They just thought it was this big monstrosity. And how did the boards come out of that log? And I'm like, oh boy.
So to them, you're a genius, Robert.
Yes, I was. They were very impressed with me. And I'm
There
thinking,
you go. You're the man.
yeah, but it's simple things like that, that people don't know. Like I bought a potato planter, and who has seen a potato planter?
I haven't. That's cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I haven't. That's one thing I haven't seen. Yeah.
You just push the thing,
That's
and
cool.
it opens up the ground. It's like two little shovel things, and you put it in,
Yeah.
you push the thing,
Opens.
and up the
You
ground.
can use that
The
for
potato
any-
falls in, and it shuts, and the potato's buried already. There you go.
Yeah. You can use that for bulbs
Excellent.
and all kinds of things.
Yeah, bulbs and stuff. Yes.
Well, most people
That's
don't know
cool.
how to garden. They don't know how to can. They don't know how to do any of that stuff because they haven't had to.
I'm learning.
Robert, I thought that those were just really crappily made shovels that took a really long time for you to dig a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But see, somebody like
Yeah.
you would pass that up at the auction, and I would get me a good deal on that, thinking, yep,
Yeah.
I've scored something really impressive. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's a crappy shovel.
yeah, you can have that for free. Yeah.
I'm out there in the backyard trying to dig a hole for like 4 hours with this potato planter and not knowing it's a potato planter.
Every time I keep seeing like this is like these big resets, and then you get all this talk about the Cabbage Patch Kids and the babies in the incubators, and they're doing that right now. China just announced they're doing 40,000 batches of kids in false artificial wombs. So I look at the history, and it's like, boy, they just do this over and over and over again. And then I look at, when we talk about Atlantis and Lemuria, all of this stuff it seems like these civilizations got built up to a certain point of knowledge, and then they had to wipe everything out. They take all the things that we've created and hide those underground, and they make us start over in these resets. But there's got to be a reason that the technology doesn't carry through. So it either has to be a mind wipe. Like you said, it only takes 2 generations before everybody loses all the information. Or I wonder if there's a physics change to where the old things don't work anymore. So I have those questions going through my mind. It's like, okay, when we go through this transitional phase, will it be electricity runs different? So the old electrical things will no longer work because we're in a different vibrational rate connecting to this new solar logos of the Aquarian age. So I have
think
these kind of questions.
I think that's exactly what's happening. I just listened to Elon Musk
I
on
wonder.
the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said that he's not worried about it. He said, because Joe Rogan was asking him about the power that his cars run on, and he was like, the battery power, and Elon's just like, I'm not worried about the battery power, because he already knows that it's going to be ran on a completely different system. It's going to be a new
I think, that's what I'm getting.
Grid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep seeing that this X is part of the ignition to start the new energy. So that I keep seeing that this 11, we're in the 11 gate portal right now. We've had 2 eclipses last month in 10. It's the beginning and the end. They're showing me this is a massive transitional state. So focus on what you want. And like, I think this is a battle for consciousness. And I think that they've been able to wipe our histories and wipe a lot from us. But, you know, I think this time there's too many of the memory keepers here, and the ones that are willing to hold on to the knowledge to give it forth to the new generations. But I do think that we're going to go through a change of a lot of the foundational things that we're used to through an energy shift. I don't think the energy is going to be the same for Pisces as it will be in Aquarian age. I think it's going to be different. And I think we're getting ready to go through it.
And it may not be, it may be completely different, but like what we were talking about before, the adaptability of humans. Will the future really be that bad? Will it be as dystopian as what we all think that it's going to be? If humans can adapt to their environment as easily as we do, would we not just adapt to whatever else is going on? I don't know.
I think,
You know,
History has taught us that
just like,
yeah, by taking on the grid, I think is what they're going to do, and then come back with the new, of course. I think that's one of the reasons why they're going to.
That's what I think,
right?
Nina.
Exactly. Oh, let's try out this new thing now.
I think so.
You know, and we're going to be very grateful for whatever's coming, because we've been without power now for whatever long, you know. So we're going to go along, and we can't communicate either. We don't know what's going on over there and here and whatever. And yeah, I think is one of the reasons.
But you know what else I see? I see that that's their plan. I think that truly is. But I think that so many people are going to learn how to plug the copper wires into the ground and get the power out of the trees. Too many people are starting to know how to utilize the free energies, magnetic energies, all these different things. So all these people, if the systems go down, a lot of people are going to start using their creative and inventive abilities out of desperation and start building these small little products and units. And this could actually be where we actually get free from all of this, because we don't need what they offer, because they won't be able to build the infrastructure back for us as fast as we can replace it with our own inventive, creative ideas.
Let me give you an alternative view. As a prepper, see, I don't see it that way. I see a collapse coming, and the thing that we do know by human nature, as a human body, after 3 days, the human body doesn't have access to water. It begins to literally begin to shut down. You begin to have renal failure. When you don't have food, most people don't even have a 1-day supply of food in their home. Hunger drives people to do very bad things. Now, hear me out. The one reason why we here in the United States have not been invaded, and the reason for this police state that's moving in, is that the citizens of the United States are the most heavily armed of any group of people in the world. It's a big problem. But when you, and this is the problem with cities, is that when the food supply is cut off, the distribution is cut off because of lack of food, lack of harvest, etc., then the normal person is going to become self-protective of survival, their survival or their immediate family. And they will kill you. They will rob you. If you have something that they are in desperate need of, in this case, food, water, resources, they'll kill you for it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be mayhem for sure. Yeah.
So, you know, what I'm seeing in all this is kind of like why I left the Nibiru community. It's just, at some point, all this ends in death.
Yeah.
And if that's the eventuality, then to me, it's more important to understand who I am on the inside. Do I have a spirit? Do I have a soul? How do I fit into all this? And how, more importantly, is this going to turn out for uno numero, me? I love the rest of you folks, but when it comes to my time of departure, it's just going to be me.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, I digress.
That's going to be for all of us. But you know what I do see is, I think humanity is so damn unpredictable, and we are wild cards. And we obviously don't go down easy, or we wouldn't be here after the flood. I mean, there's been some massive cataclysms on this planet that nobody can dispute. We've had major catastrophes, but we're still here. So I see a resilient factor with humanity, and through this evolution, I think this reset might be the first time that we've been reset in all of these past histories where humanity, part of humanity, knows what's happening. I don't think there's ever been a large group of people before that ever understood the magnitude to what we could potentially be facing. So, but I think many are aware of this potential. And I do think there's going to be multitudes of survivors. And I think a lot of the ones that depend on the technology that can't get back to the basic roots of survival in old ways until this transition works itself out. I think a lot of those eventually will be going through the death process because of their lack of understanding of what's happening in the world, not being prepared. And when panic hits, they will freak out and they will do things that might put them in danger and their families in danger. Going into these special places for special privileges is probably not going to work out so well for the majority of people that go into these places for so-called help. So I think we're looking
You're
at a lot of different
sideways.
stuff.
Yeah, you went
Right.
sideways.
Went
You went
sideways
sideways.
on us, Nina. I mean,
Which is a great
Trina.
movie, by the way. Yeah.
Trina and
Oh,
Nina.
Trina,
oh,
Nina.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Flip-
think there's
they're
going to be
flipping
a lot of people surviving. You know, those who are prepared, right? Those who are out in
But
the
the key word
countryside.
here is surviving.
You know?
You can't survive unless you're surviving some sort of cataclysm or natural
Those
disaster.
who are prepared, right? Like yourselves. You know, you're out in the country there. You know, at least two of you here is out in the country. The city folks, unfortunately, are probably not going to make it. You know, and that's myself. I'm right here in the city, so
Well,
it's just.
I agree with Wayne with everybody having a gun and they're trying to protect themselves. But I agree with the fact that when you have children, for instance, and mothers or fathers or whoever it is, and their kids are starving to death and the neighbor has food, they're going to do whatever it takes, to keep those children alive. And you can almost prove that. Like I was reading a story about the Donner Party. They're freezing out in the wilderness and stuff. And it was like, mom and dad are dying so the kids can eat. Here's dad. Here's his arm for lunch or
That's
something.
going to take a leg.
Yeah, because it's all about.
I'm a breast guy, though. Actually,
who survived the most out of that situation was the children. The children survived. And the thing is,
that was in Colorado, right? Robert?
No, Sierra Mountains.
Sierra, the mountains, California, Nevada.
But
really?
here's the thing is,
That was the Donner
Party. Yeah. Donner, and you go through it, Donner's Pass, right off Interstate 80.
And if they shut off the power, it won't be long before they're out of food, out of water. People are, and we will. Whoever's planning this is the beta fish. James Bond movie. The two fight it out. People here will be fighting it out for that last morsel of food to survive, and then somebody else who survived all this with no problem or very little will come in and take over.
And let me just say, Robert, that scenario.
Yeah.
Here's the other side effect. So you're in a city of let's say 1 million people. The power goes out. Well, that means sewer and sanitation goes out.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to.
Within 3 days, you have now potential cholera.
Yep.
You have dysentery. You have all these other bacterial diseases that
people with guns.
Exactly. I mean, happy Thanksgiving. I mean, it's like, gee,
well,
where's the bar?
All I can say is Deagle report.
Bingo. Yeah.
2025, half of you people out there are supposed to be gone. Where'd you go? And how? That's what I wonder.
Well, I think we know now. Yeah.
How do you get rid of that many people? And then the thing is, Wayne, I want to say that, they're going to die off from all that stuff, but then who's burying them? Where's going to put all those guys?
Bingo. Now you've got disease.
Yeah, they create disease too. These bodies are disease-ridden, carrying son of a guns.
Haven't you heard, Robert, about all the caskets and all the stuff all that stuff? But I don't think that.
By the way, my wife did see twice now 3 3 tractor trailers moving, all with a portable body containers. It's twice now she have seen it moving west.
Like recently?
Yes, within the last 3 weeks.
We were watching this back in 16, 17, seeing this kind of stuff too. And so we were well before.
Yeah, actually, I know the mayor of that town where those are made at.
Yeah, so they've been preparing for something for a while. It's not new.
Anyway, there's something on the move.
Yeah.
See, I think that we're looking at this all in the wrong direction. See, people they want a big event, right? They want something big to happen in order to kind of come together, sort of like what happened with 9/11, people coming together during 9/11 and everyone be all patriotic and all that and hold hands across the world or whatever it is that they were doing, but it's not like that, and it's not going to be like that. Based off of the past, it's going to be a very slow process, and the way that they do it is convincing other people to do it. See, the best way that you control and manipulate a society is to not let them know that they've been controlled and manipulated. So if you pull off a huge event like that, then everyone rebuts, right? You create too much opposition to it. So what you do is you sneak it in under the radar and you make them think that it's in their best interest to actually do it. That's what they did with AI. That's what they did with Chat GPT. How many people did we hear before Chat GPT became a thing saying that they would never mess with AI? Oh, anything to do with AI, I'll never do it. I'll never touch AI. I'll never do any of that stuff. I'll never talk with artificial intelligence. I'll never put in AI rendered photos. And now they're all doing it because it's a popular thing to do. And they see these influencers and these other people doing something that they cannot do. So therefore they jump on the bandwagon.
Because it's
That's
convenient.
how it's going to go.
Yeah, because it's convenient for them now.
That is the way that they're going to do it.
Like last week, the UN implemented that whole digital currency thing. So they said yes. So it's a go for Europe now. So the whole European, they already got one currency in Europe already. You know how sneaky they are? They already started that already. But now it's going to be a digital wallet. That's it. So everything's got to be in this digital wallet. If you don't have it, you're not going to be able to go to work. You're not going to be able to go to transport. You're not going to be able to do anything. So how long is it going to be until that comes over to North America here now then? That's
But
the
it's
question.
already here.
Yeah,
I invented 2 mobile payment systems. Brought pay to the table to the United States back in 2000. We brought it to our first test market 2005. First integrated, and then I invented a mobile giving app for churches and nonprofits. So
you're part of the problem, Wayne.
it's been here. I mean, when I served with the Fed, that's what my specialty was debit card adaptation.
But at
And
least
there's a
now
whole
it's voluntary. Like we don't have to. We can still use cash. We can still do other things. We're not forced to have to use that payment option, But
And they're not going
but
to
wait a minute.
force
Do
you
you have
to
a
do
bank
it.
account?
Well, if everything is going into this digital wallet, that means your
It's
passport,
already there.
driver's
I mean,
license, medical stuff, like your keys to the car, like everything. So if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to do anything. Like
it's already
travel,
It is.
like
People have it already. You got a credit card, a debit card. People,
it is the beginning
I
of it.
sell some eggs, and people can't pay me for a $2 dozen of eggs because they don't have cash. Go
So we
figure.
bring the cash back.
Do you take
how I
Square?
bring it.
Yeah, I mean, they're like,
See,
I don't
these are
have any
things that we can do, like stop using credit card, get rid of your credit cards, go into the bank every month, get the cash out. Don't leave any money in your bank. You shouldn't be doing that anyways, and start using that cash so that, there'll be more resistance as this is coming closer, because that option is going to be gone soon if we don't, so that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm resisting.
We're not. If it would work if we were united doing it, but we're not.
Well, by
People
doing shows like this,
are
though,
not
hopefully
united.
people will hear that and think about that for a minute, and hopefully maybe do something, right? Instead of just sitting there again, bending over, taking it all the time. These are ways that we can be resistant, without doing anything illegal, but just, yeah.
Well, see, they're not going to force you to do anything. That's the
Nudging.
genius part of this
No, but they
entire
were gonna do it
operation.
for convenience.
They'll never force you to do any of it. It's your choice. Now, whether that choice is an illusion of choice or not, it doesn't really matter. You still have the choice to do it. They just can't rush in and make you do things. That's not the way that it's going to work, and it's not the way that it's ever worked. You know, it's going to be a slow process, and they're going to chip things away slowly to get everybody on board with some kind of new system. It's not going to be a big event. It's exactly like inflation, right? It slowly just creeps up there. Before you know it, you're going to the grocery store and your head of lettuce is now $11 when it used to be $4, and it's going to keep going up. Your eggs are going to be $15 when they used to be $5. You know, it's going to slowly go
Can
in
I
there
can I
until
point
you're
out
just
something,
priced
Ryder?
out.
It's here though. I mean, people here that are on welfare, that have food stamps, all that programs for the government, it's all done on a debit card. You don't get the cash. You're not allowed cash. It goes simply through the digital transaction. And so my point is they've conditioned a whole segment of the economy. These people are that to them, it's normal now. That debit card is everything.
But at least
And
we have the option though to go to the bank and take the cash out if we
no,
want to.
no, not here in the United States. If
Oh.
you're getting government benefits such as food and healthcare services, you can't. No, you can't. It's illegal.
Well, here in Canada, we do.
Okay.
Yes, it's all electronically delivered into your bank whenever you're getting a check, but you can go to the bank and take the cash out if you want to and pay with that. So that's all still going on. But yeah, no, I've seen the backlash at the store, where I'm sitting there with the cash. And some young dude, a couple, down the line, they're like, oh, well, I guess I picked the wrong lane, eh? Because, yeah, it takes a couple more minutes, a couple more seconds, really, to do the cash, right? Then just tap, everything is tap now, And so I can see it. The young people are going to go along with it. They're going to love it. They're going to think that's more convenient.
There's stores right here in this area that I am in that are cashless.
Yeah.
They don't take cash. They say
Right,
right on the door.
No, so I'm trying to be resistant here by refusing to use my cards, using cash wherever I can, as much as I can, and just so people don't forget, and hopefully, if people start realizing that what's going on here, that they'll do
Silver
that as
and
well.
gold.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we right now we can do something about it, but yeah, it won't be long. And well, the UN has just done it to Europe now. So there'll be no more cash, outlawed, no more cash. We're done with the cash.
I got huge bales of nails, 16, 8-penny. Those are going to be barter.
Yeah,
that's what we
great.
planned years ago.
Spend your money on stuff like that rather than having it sit in the bank for sure.
Happy Thanksgiving.
If you have a lot of money in the bank, start stocking up.
Where's
Don't
that
have
joint?
it sitting there. I just had a lady that I did a reading for the other day. She's got like 250,000 sitting in the bank. I'm like, you know what? No, you got to get that out. Start buying some precious metals. Start stocking up, and getting it out of the bank. Get yourself a safe. You don't even have to leave your house. You can do that all online. You can order your gold and silver online. You can have that safe delivered right to your house. You don't even have to leave your place. But get that money out of the bank. Like, seriously, yeah.
Then you get the vault company that'll give the feds your combination.
Yeah, there you go.
Son of a bitch. Thought I was buying this for myself. Sucker.
Yeah.
But then it's also like, what would we be protecting ourselves from if this new system is good? What if it's great? What if it all works? What if it's awesome?
It will work, and it will be awesome for some people, because it always is. It will always work for some people, or the people who follow the rules or the lines or obey the things. But
don't mind
the people
losing
who
your privacy
or mess up, just like in society now, they end up at the bottom of the rung. They can't ride the bus or buy the burger, go on the trip because he made bad choices. Only
Right.
now AI is
Well,
going to be watching
that's
you
where it's
look like
going, right? Yeah, look at
Mm.
China with their credit score, social score, and that's where it's heading. That's the bad side of it. And we're going to lose all our privacy. Not that, I'm into criminal behavior, but, like, a person should be able to go and get some hookers and blow if he wants to, you know what I mean? Like, so, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't like the idea of the government being able to, control everything that we're doing and then taken away, if you haven't, like if we say something bad on here now, oh, well, that's credit scores right there. You're not going to be able to buy something next week now because you did that. And, and like, yeah, it's just going to get nuts, so.
Well, it's like Bill Gates and Microsoft. They've already hold the patent for the human body as a means of payment.
Right.
Mhm.
Now that's the patent. Go and check me out on this. Anyone go out and look at the patent. They've already figured out how you can, within the human body through biotechnology and biometrics, that you can actually now store that in the human body. So if you got the patch or the tattoo, you walk through it, the scanner, and yeah.
Mhm.
Have you guys seen that movie In Time with Justin
Yeah.
Timberlake,
Yeah.
where he has the amount of
Mm-hmm.
his lifespan on his arm, and then he
Yeah.
goes and
Isn't that
pays with
interesting?
things with his lifespan?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah,
It
that's,
is. It's a cool movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just
Mhm.
weird.
that wouldn't surprise me that, yeah, they usually show it in movies of what they're planning on doing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but it is scary. I got to tell you, at where I'm at in life now, I'm looking back, and this was not how it was in the 50s. It wasn't like this in the 60s. I mean, the 60s sucked. The 70s weren't much better, but we didn't have this constant control. I don't think I could have grown up on the streets, because I sold drugs. That's how I
that's what I'm
made,
saying. Like, how are you
you
gonna,
know, I couldn't
like,
do that today unless I had a square. And then, thank goodness the IRS is now saying that they don't have to report if it's less than $20,000, and you're going, okay, sure. Anyway, but no, and I see it, and it's tightening the noose. It's getting tighter and tighter.
but even using that square, they'll know that you did it, and they're going to tax you on that. That's where it comes back. They want to make sure they get that tax on that drug
Sure.
deal or whatever it is that we're doing, right? I'm surprised that they haven't legalized prostitution yet. I mean, that's a cash grab right there that they could be doing.
But they have.
Have they though?
Well,
Are they
here in
taxing
Nevada, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
just shows
Nevada,
where
you can go, right
Okay.
outside Vegas, right outside Clark County line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's quite legal here, although people are doing it, obviously. But yeah, you're gonna need cash, pretty sure, if she doesn't take the square there. But I don't know. Well, what do I
It's
know?
weird that you're mentioning this. You know what the number one income generator is for women from the ages of 20 all the way up to 70 plus is the new fad is like having your fans only.
Oh, cam girls. Yeah, cam girl. That's a new
Yeah, I mean,
prostitution.
one woman that was being interviewed on a CBS here, she can make up to $50,000 a day.
Wow.
A day.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
What
boy.
the hell? I'm going. Lynn looked over at me and going, when did this start? I was like, hey,
Glad that we
Trina.
didn't have the
There she
computer
is.
back when
Anyway, I digress. Right, I know that's completely taken over the show. We really thank you as a guest, and the moderator. And
No,
we'll
but I
return
mean,
your show back to you now.
there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, I don't understand why. Maybe if prostitution was legal, then we wouldn't have as many problems as we do in the United States.
Back in the day, they had temple prostitutes.
Well, that's the thing. It used to be legal.
If you were going to bring a gift to God, you got laid. That ain't
Yeah, when
bad.
you look at the Western movies, you had the
You want to come
saloon,
back and get laid again?
That's the exchange of energy there, Wayne. Exchange of energy.
the oldest profession, apparently. Yeah, I'm surprised the government doesn't have their hand in that pocket.
They do, both of them.
No, I'm not sure they do.
Mhm.
Just like they run all the drugs.
Now back to the show.
Same thing.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, the things that they do in secret and the businesses they run.
There ain't no
Unbelievable.
secrets anymore. Not in the technology. You bare your soul.
Yeah.
Well, they're the ones that are bringing in this stupid fentanyl. That's an epidemic. I mean, it's killing so many young people. It's unbelievable. That's another
You
way
see,
that they're
this
getting rid of
systemic of this, whatever this is that has control of us, our species. I mean, you were talking about in the future, and I'm thinking to myself, but what if, and Trina, when you were talking as well, and I thought to myself, what if this is the program? That this is exactly what it's doing. This is exactly what's supposed to be happening. I mean, how do you fight against that?
You can't.
What's that, Trina?
You can't.
Yeah.
When it's like the mouse going down the maze. You know, you put the cheese and the mouse follows the cheese, and then when he realizes that he's too far down, he can't turn around and go back because he don't know his way. And we're being led down the maze that they want us to go, and we're not sure which way to go. But then we see this pretty, something, we got to follow that. Oh, the latest fad, all the propaganda, some star telling us this is the best thing since Swiss cheese. Have it. You better get it right away. It's the best. It's the best. And then we do these things. You got to work harder. Now, can you have just one job? You got to have two now to be in the in crowd. You got to have a new car. You got to have stuff and own nothing, and you're going to be happy because you're paying for all your rented stuff, the cloud space, the internet space, the phone minutes, everything. And at the end of the day, what do you really got? You got nothing. And you're happy. And you're being led down that road. You're spending all your money. Well, you can't walk out of that store without paying the extra warranty on your $10 item. For $10, you can get a warranty, and then you get out. Well, I better insure that thing so it doesn't break with some other insurance, in my car insurance, my health insurance, my life insurance, and you keep going on with that, and you're paying and paying.
You're like a slave, brother.
Yeah. And what do you got? Well, I own this. I own something.
Yeah.
I bought some music online. It's in the cloud. But as soon as I quit paying for the cloud, I lost all my music, See, and there you go. Then you got to start over.
Get the CD instead. That's what I do. I'm resisting all the way.
But that's what I mean. They're transitioning us out of all that stuff into something way better. Look, I can carry all my music in this little device I have, my black mirror, and I can carry everything in there. Isn't it wonderful? My phone, my music, my internet, my money. I don't need anything but this.
Yeah, that's how they groomed us, so that we're so used to that now. So it won't be a far stretch to have that grain of rice inside your hand or whatever it is that we're going to be tapping with in the future,
Yeah.
So we've been groomed this whole time. Yeah,
I'll just say
Absolutely.
that I'm the oldest hippie in this room, and I actually lived on a commune, and we were pretty self-sufficient. But I can tell you, I don't think that Nirvana exists because it's within the human nature is that there's something that people have to push on, they have to push forward, and there was a couple of weeks I just remember it was just perfect, but new people come in and then things change, and
My thought to that, though, Robert, is that we don't leave with any of that stuff anyway.
No, we don't.
That's right. Can't
But
take it with us.
in the meantime, you're working like a slave for absolutely nothing, to enjoy.
Yes.
I mean, once the day you can't work hard anymore and you find out you have nothing, period. You can never fall back and live, as long as we're in this 3D life, we have to have things.
Well, this is why they keep us so busy working so that we don't stop and start thinking and talking to each other and doing what we're doing right now. They don't want that. So they want to make sure that we're busy around the clock, So again, we're being groomed, being steered.
Yeah.
That's what I see though with this group is like we're not steerable. They're trying, but it just doesn't work.
like herding
We-
cats with this group.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it's not going to work.
No, they're not going that direction. Damn it, they're over here. You know, we just stop that one right there. Is leading the others. You know.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's having a huge effect. And like we were talking about, was sending peace to the Israel stuff that was going on. And then look, now there's a temporary pause and
Yeah.
things calm down. I really do think that we have such a big effect on this planet, and we're starting to realize that. And that is what is terrifying them. That's why they got to change the Bibles. They need to confuse people, get people to fight against each other, fight over their beliefs, fight over whose God's better, fight over this, fight over that. There's just too many of us now. They're like, we're not interested in your fight because we don't believe in any of your stuff.
I think
We don't buy it.
a
You
lot
are
of the
the
fighting
virus.
though is happening online though. It's because of the internet. You know, they've
Yes.
created this way of people that can just say whatever they want to say and not feel bad about it because you're not in front of the person. You know, I was just on a podcast with one of the cults that I covered in my first episode of UFO Doomsday Cults, the Aetherius Society. They reached out to me to bring me on their show. And I went on,
Wow.
and it was a very civil conversation. Like,
Wow.
we respected each other. We respected what each other believed. They respected my research. They had, decent things to say, and I had good things to say as well. And that just shows you that people with different ideologies, different belief systems, and they're all in on George King, the leader of the Aetherius Society. They're like, he had the truth, he nothing but the truth and only the truth. Everything that he said was 100% factual and truthful. You know, and it just shows that people can have that kind of conversation. And I think the internet is really just put this barrier up between humanity to where, you know, people think that they can't disagree with people without attacking them. We can't disagree with people without hating them.
You know what
and
though, Ryder? Look at you guys had such a beautiful conversation because you literally got face to face, and you explored each other's ideas in a kind manner. It's like, okay, let's listen to each other talk. I see most of these idiots online that are doing this crazy stuff. You're right. They're little trolls sitting in their mom's basement with no job, no life, sitting there just saying all this stupid stuff. But the ones that are the real humans, the ones that really have consciousness, they're willing to go face to face on the camera and say, let's talk about this, and not attack each other, but explore consciousness. And I think that exploration of consciousness and giving room for these different belief systems and to look at each other's perspectives honestly with openness, I think that is the greatest accomplishment I've seen humanity come through thus far, is we do see people coming with different opinions and actually expanding from each other's knowledge. Like saying, you know, I'm willing to look at this. Are you willing to look at mine? And yes, and yes. And then you get an expansion of your consciousness by literally looking at both sides of this issue or whatever you're trying to go through. But this is what I'm seeing is all these stupid things. Those are trolls. Those are just unevolved humans that are asleep and they're just getting their rocks off by causing chaos. But the more that we ignore those and spend time with the ones that want to do the face-to-face, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about these things nobody wants to talk about. This is when we're going to see groundbreaking movement in consciousness.
And a lot of these people that you're arguing with online are actually bots. That's another
Right.
thing.
They're not even real.
Right?
Yes. They're not even real.
Time and energy on this stupid stuff. They got us spinning around, chasing our own tail is what they got. You know, like,
Yes.
you know.
That's the
you gotta
whole
remember
idea
that.
that the internet is actually a very evil construct.
It can be, yeah.
Well,
I think
they
it's
actually
both.
say it is, and it that's how it was. You know, when it got taken over. I mean, what was it? Facebook when they first did their algorithm and released it out there in the beta form, that it became psychotic within about 6 weeks, and they had to completely dump it. And
Yep.
then they thought, well, the thing we ought to do is then have a counterbalance. And it turned out the two counterbalances ended up joining and they became psychopathic. I mean, it was just this thing that it's like Ghost in the Machine. You know how
Yeah.
code will write its own code. It's some weird stuff.
You know, I was loving what you were talking about before I got kicked off. About the field, our energy field, and how that it's hackable. And wow, I've been doing a lot of research on that, and it appears that we've already been hacked. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that that is real. And I absolutely know that it is from the research I've done. And there's a researcher, and people have mixed talk about her. Her name is Sabrina Wallace, and people see her on TikTok, and she's part of the children that were taken in to the programs very early. Her parents are both in those programs, and she broke free of the mind control, and she's dropping all the information on how they've already hacked the body and how you've been hacked for a while. And she was talking about the interface and how it's going into the brain and the heart. And we have a lot of myocardial issues at the moment too. Isn't that an interesting link? So yeah, so you guys might want to look into that if you can find it. And she's got people, you know, she doesn't comb her hair, she's eccentric, she's a little crazy, but wow, the information she's dropping. I've done some looking on some of these words that she was utilizing. I'm like, oh man, this stuff is real. So she's right. So we've already been
when the
hacked.
hackers came to me, they left. They said, that fucking dude's crazy, man. Get the hell out of here.
I don't want to hack that.
Man, he took so much LSD. Ain't no freaking way we're getting into that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of the Ghost in the Machine, my friend Paul Knight on What the Flock TV just did an amazing video on Ghost in the Machine. If you guys are interested, anyone that's listening,
You know,
check that out.
His consciousness freaks me out. His consciousness freaks me out because it's like you, Wayne. I'll be thinking about something and writing it in my book for like 2 days, and then he does a video on it. I'm like, what the flock? There you go again. I love you, Paul. I love you. That is cool, dude. We are on the same frequency like so often. It blows my mind. I'm like, he's another one that I don't know how we do that, but it's fabulous. And I'm like listening to his video going, I wrote that down and I wrote that down and I wrote that down. It was exactly at the same time.
So I'm going to learn jujitsu?
Right.
We're all tapping into the same ether, right? And that's the thing. We're all getting the same information. And
I told Wade that today. I blame all of you because your consciousness is in my head.
Yeah, we're picking it up from the same, you know.
Isn't
Some
the movie Scanners where the guy says, get out of my head, man?
Right, get out of my head.
Scanners, that is a very underrated movie.
There's several
classic horror movie.
Yeah, there was a couple of them. There a couple of two.
Video Drone was another one, you know.
Yeah. There seems to be like that. They're getting the information at the same time. So
that's why every time I have an idea, I normally just run with it and just do it, because I know if I don't do it, then somebody else is going to do it. And it normally goes that way every single time it happens. Every time I have a great thought and or epiphany or something, like, and I don't do it, I see somebody else doing it very shortly after. So now I've just trusted myself, and whenever I have a thought or something sparks into my mind, I just immediately do it. So
there you go.
Go with it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, you should do that all the time.
Yeah.
And even if you're wrong, you learn more when you're wrong than you do when you're right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it when you run into a confusion pattern. That's when I've had my greatest breakthroughs. Is when something I can't make sense of it or it confuses me. I really go into it deeply, and that's when I've had my greatest gnosis and my greatest breakthroughs of when I hit these walls of confusion patterns that, wow, that doesn't make sense, or could that even be right? Those confusion patterns are the greatest gift because they literally help you open up new neural pathways in your consciousness.
Yeah.
Great gift.
with this pole change, we might all experience an awakening or a conscious thing, or who knows, it could work both ways. We could expand our minds, or we could be completely wake up one day oblivious to whatever happened and have our minds completely wiped and say, I don't know where I am or who I am or what's anything. I mean,
I think we went through that already with when the poles shifted and we went to the draconian connection. And I really do think that could be the biblical, when the serpent entered the garden, was when the planet was literally shifted and connected to a new pole, a new system of consciousness. I wonder if that one did downgrade us consciously, and then with the genetic modifications, it further dropped us down. But it seems that there's so many people talking about the fear that the dark ones on this planet have of this new light coming into the planet. I seem to see a consensus among many of the seers. They're saying they are so freaked out with this new light that's coming in. They are so scared. They're trying to block the sun. They're trying to manipulate our sun. Well, that's another confirmation. They're trying to block this new light. So I wonder if that light did keep us depressed, but this light is going to help us to expand. And I wonder if that's why they're so scared. I have a strong suspicion this light is going to be a balancing effect to the more positive polarized expression, because we've been in a very negative war survival system for thousands of years. So
and we're going to kick your ass. We're coming to kick your ass.
Right. We're going to kick your ass. Kick your ass.
You've been kicking our ass. It's time that we
We're going
kick
to
your
kick your
ass.
ass back. That's right.
I mean, I got a little bit of something out of that. It's like it could work both ways. I mean, why
Yeah.
scared? Because if we all lost our memories and we didn't know anything,
We didn't know.
well, but the thing is, you're dealing with millions of people who don't know anything. You can't control them,
Yeah.
and you got to start over from scratch. That would be scary. It would also be scary if we opened our minds and we would know more what's actually going on. Either way, they lose, and that period would be scary because
See, that whole mind wiping, that's soul rape. That's what that is.
Yes.
I mean, they're raping
Yes.
our soul, and that just pisses me off.
It's
We
stealing.
were all blind white before we
Pisses
got
me
here,
off.
right? So,
Like,
you
how
know, we
dare
don't
you?
do that.
But if the electrical fields of the earth change, and we're made of the earth and we resonate with
And
the
we're
earth,
electromagnetic.
yes, would that
Yes.
not I mean, you heard of it. We researched that God helmet. They put that on and they make the magnetic waves go and you start seeing things and you can, that might be kind of what's happening, and only on a bigger scale without the thing on your head. I mean,
Well, that's what that woman was talking about. She said that the interface was already connected, and many people, the voices in their head are not their own voices. It's not coming from their soul. It's coming from the AI because they've already been connected. They've already been through the transfer, and their consciousness is more in alignment with that. So they're anchoring to the artificial more than the organic. And it's just like you said, before we used to remember 100 phone numbers, but now we don't. It's because you don't use it. When you don't use it, you lose it. So these people, they're so into the technology that they're going now connected to the technology through all of the systems in place, through the satellites, our phones, all of this different technology. But we've been filled with graphene through the air, through the water, through the food. So we already have the magnetics and the plastics needed in the physical body, with or without the other, opportunities for change. But we're all affected. Nobody is not, because this has been being dumped on us for 50 years. So we all have these components in our physical beings right now to connect to the artificial construct, which is being implemented through the Neuralink, or you will stay connected to the solar system link. So that's what I think is happening right now. And many of these people that are having these consciousness come into their head using their own voice. That was one of the things they were talking about, voice to skull technology. So this is definitely something that is being done and can be done at a much higher level. So the voices in our head, we always must question what you're hearing within your own skull, because apparently we've been hacked.
Well, Jerry Marzinski believes it is demons.
It's not, it's technology. But I really do think that these are like the trolls, you know, these people that are just wicked and they love to watch people's lives fall apart. So they're just sitting there with a microphone giving you commands through the phone or through the routers or through the satellites. It's going into your physical body and you're hearing these messages, but they're using your own voice. But these are people just toying with you. Just like that guy that last week that was getting ready to go and kill all those people at the festival, and he shot himself and he left a note. I'm not a killer.
Not get into that, Trina. It's very
Okay.
censorable,
Gotcha.
censorable things.
Gotcha.
But the
For
thing
the
about that,
fake firecrackers.
the thing about that is, though, paranoid schizophrenia has been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Before
Correct.
technology was ever invented, before cell phones, before TV, before any of that. So I do think possibly that some of it may be some form of technology, but not all of it. It's impossible for all of it to be technology. It has to be.
I think you're right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. I actually have a family member with schizophrenia, so I do understand that. Yeah. But I do think some of it is coming from an outside source, and some of it's coming from his own crazy source. I think you're right with that, Ryder, because I do see two different levels of energy there, especially when I started looking at it.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think it's possible for them to be able to do it, and then the question becomes, why would they do it? What would be the purpose of that? And then, you know, it hasn't been around for all that long. So, what were the people hearing before? But I think this is a good spot to wrap up, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate your time.
Happy Thanksgiving, Ryder.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It's like people listening to this show, they're going, well, I need
Yeah,
some
I know.
families.
Well,
Where's
I'll-
Jack Daniels at?
I'll tell you what, just be
Yeah,
happy and give thanks for what you have now, because this might be the
Yeah.
last greatest, best day you ever have.
Yeah.
It might
You
be
know,
the last
I'm-
Thanksgiving as the world is as we know it anyways. It might be a whole different situation next year. So yeah, enjoy whatever you guys have, you know, and get together with family, give them a hug, tell them you love them, you know, and have some fun, you know, while you can.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you just never know. So
I think it's important to be grateful for the things that we can be grateful for, because we are facing challenges currently and more to come. So I think, to find the gratitude and the thankfulness of the things that are good. And I'm thankful for all of you. So thank you. Thank you for being part of my gratitude list.
ditto for that one.
Yeah.
Trina,
I think you're all crazy, so I'm getting the hell out of here.
Wayne is out. Yeah, Trina, really quickly, where can they find you online?
Just YouTube, Trina Phoenix, and that's it. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Trina. Thanks for coming on. Robert, where can they find you, my friend?
Milky Way Soul Tribe, almost every night at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Awesome.
You're late.
I know. I got it clicked up. As soon as I'm out of here, I'm over there. Check me out. Native American Myths and Legends tonight.
Awesome. The links to Robert's channel is in the description of this video. Thanks for coming on, Robert. Really appreciate your time this evening, brother.
Thank you.
Nina, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm Nina the Mystic on YouTube and most of the social media. So yeah, just go and subscribe to my YouTube and you'll find all my links in every single video that I got there. So
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nina. The links to her channel is in the description as well. Thanks for coming on, Nina. I appreciate you. Wayne, where can people find you, my friend?
R. Wayne Steiger. Odysee, Rumble, YouTube.
Awesome.
This was
Thanks.
fun, Ryder. This was fun. I'm thankful for this. This is what keeps the soul young.
It does. It was a great conversation, and thanks for coming on. Please go check out Wayne's channel. The link is in the description. Thanks so much, Wayne. We'll do it again sometime soon, my friend.
We shall, brother. Thank you.
And for everyone else, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button to help the channel and the algorithm. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. Lori, good to see you. Heather, how's it going? Off D hook. Let's do this now. Good to see you, Doug. Noble Truth, thanks for being here and thanks for being a member. Please sign up to be a member, guys. It's only $4.99 a month. Lori, good to see you. Monkey Experiments. Potatoes, Pancake, good to see you. Well, I am taking the week off, so I will be back on Saturday. I believe I'm taking the rest of the week off, but I'll be back tomorrow with a 60th anniversary of the JFK assassination tomorrow at 6 p.m. with Jay Widener. That was a pre-recorded show that was on his channel, but I'll be releasing it here tomorrow at 6 p.m. So see you guys tomorrow. I will be in the chat, and I'll be back for another live video on Saturday. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Much love, and see you guys next time.